Welcome to Rauta's Black Metal Reviews and one of the best albums in terms of black metal for year 2024. It's so hilarious that when Satanic Warmaster's new album, Exultation of Cruelty, comes out, already some people have made their best albums of the year listings already in like late November, early December, and then without hype, without warning, this kind of album drops and these peoples are gonna miss out. It's also funny because a couple of weeks ago when I made my Satanic Warmaster retrospective video going through about 30 minutes or so, the whole career, past 26 years or so, with all the albums, all the demos, all the splits and what have you, and including covers, lyrics, whatsoever, lineup changes, without knowing there's a new album just around the corner. And about a week later that my retrospective video comes out, Satanic Warmaster is there like, hey, what's up? Can you advertise to Rauta people that there is a new Satanic Warmaster album out? I was saying that already. Discord channel, Rauta's Discord channel, the album is already mentioned, but I'm happy to feature and give this one a proper review on the channel if a review copy arrives. And a few days later, here we are. That is about a week later when we were messaging Mr. Werewolf. So here it is, Exultation of Cruelty CD version, which is a double CD feature of Satanic Warmaster's 7th album. So before we unbox or see the ingredients, let's take a quick look at the band's Metal Archive site. So here we are, Satanic Warmaster 1998 and onwards, more than 26 years in the making, now with the updated lineup photo, that is Mr. Werewolf alone, and obviously I won't be going through this discography except for very, very briefly because I've featured it already in the retrospective video with comments on the albums and splits and what have you. But here it is in its full glory, lots of releases during past few years. And the only thing what I could say is particularly interesting in terms of albums is that the previous album, Amungander, came in 2022, so only 2 years ago, but 8 years after the previous album, Fimbulwinter 2014. The early years were very, very active, albums dropping out like every 2 years or so, but things changed after Karelian Satan's Madness 2005, and then there was longer pause between albums, 5 years, and now 8 years between the previous ones. However, only 2 years later comes Exultation of Cruelty, the 7th album, and now it's back to black and white glory, like in the old days, with Strength and Honor, Offerbelut, and so on. So, gone are the days when Satanic Warmaster's black and white was abandoned with Amungander getting all full colored, except with despite, beautiful cover and all, and more polished style musically, that was so melodic, even folky at some parts, and kind of sounding like a new band or new phase, new era of the given band. Now we're going back to the raw, grim black metal, how it was back in the early days. And this comes with about 56 minutes or 55 minutes of raw end of black metal throughout 8 tracks. So almost 60 minutes of that grim style. But the CD version has more than that. It seems like only the digital version at the time features this one album version. And I was told that the tape and the LP version will also feature just the main disc or the main content. And I will explain what is going on with the second album now that we get back here for the video for unboxing. So here we have Satanic Warmaster sitting on a chair in his home. Some people already guessing is this that like some granny's house or elder home or whatever. People can be stupid and goofy and all that stuff, but that's actually his home. I have seen proofs of that, so take my word for that. So as said, this one comes with 2 CDs and black and white inlay. Here's some imagery for the mood, the track listing in its full glory. And now you're wondering why there is not CD number 2 listed. It's because the CD number 2 is raw version of Exultation of Cruelty, and the track listing is here. Here it also says the Werewolf is taking care of all music, lyrics, and instruments with the session drummer excluded. However, that is not mentioned as the real album, the main one, the main disc number 1. There's a little bit of differences. First of all, the track order is a little bit different, and then there's at least 1 track more on the second or raw version of an album, which means it's a kind of a nonsense and playing in the middle of the album. Sounds kind of like outro that was just, discarded later on. And in my opinion, for the better, it's not really that good of a track. It's not a bad one, but doesn't really bring anything of value for the given album. So I think the final version with the different order and all that stuff is better one. And then there's this booklet with classic Satanic Warmaster symbol here, as well as lyrics. So all in all, quite a nice package for those who favor CD. Now it makes sense it's not present there with tape and vinyl version because it would just make it more expensive. And to be honest, I guess most people are happy with the real content, which is then again what the CD version and digital versions here have. As you can see, there is one instrumental song, and then there's this, all in all 8 tracks. I don't know really how much there is a differences. I mean, I went through this whole package 3 times, and for me, while I was trying to compare, clearly didn't kind of point out that there are major differences. Probably more obvious to the man himself, and of course the die-hard fans who have now been going through the versions of dozens and dozens of time. That is, assuming you have already gotten the CD. Maybe with later listenings you will notice more differences between the versions, because there's like a 4 or 5 minutes difference in terms of total track length with the given albums 1 and 2. But apart from that, not that obvious. First of all, both albums are very raw and grim in terms of production, vocals, and in general. And much like previous Satanic Warmaster, who have always been, playing homage or tribute to the certain bands back in there. I mean, in early albums, they were more like Graveland Wives. Later on, some people say, yeah, this is sounding like absurd. I think it's safe to say that some ones are more towards French black metal and so forth. So this is Judas Iscariot style of black metal. Mind you, that doesn't mean that Satanic Warmaster doesn't have its own identity. Obviously it has, and it has been shaping up how Finnish black metal sounds so much how it does. I mean, there are lots of bands even outside Finland who sound so much like Finnish black metal. And what it, in essence, it means, it's like a lot of those end up sounding a little bit like they've been inspired by Satanic Warmaster, as well as bands like Hornabehex and Sargeist, what have you. But Satanic Warmaster has been like this ever shape-shifting animal, the werewolf that it is, and going from one style to another, and it's not hiding in its inspiration or the bands that really inspired the whole music to begin with. And this is indeed like very much like going Judas Iscariot, but with a Finnish touch to it. And in my opinion, that's a really, really great thing, because Judas Iscariot is, in my opinion anyway, the best black metal act ever to come from United States. So paying tribute to the best of the given country is like, wow, that's really good job. But this is not copycat. I mean, surely you could fool someone who is like less, acquainted with the material, like this is just missing Judas Iscariot album. There are so obvious like parts where it just sounds like, okay, this is Judas Iscariot. But obviously there are differences in playing style or vocals and whatever. And talking of which, in my opinion, these are some of the best Satanic Warmaster vocal parts ever. With Amungandr, I was a little bit disappointed. I mean, it was like a weaker set of vocals, like losing some kind of shriekiness. But now it's more power, more roar and all that stuff, which is exactly how I like it. So definitely this also has some kind of a Dark Thronian vibe to it. Be it in the vocals very raw, but also, because Judas Iscariot is partially anyway, sounding like a little bit Dark Throne in the mix. So it's a great thing because Dark Throne is my all-time favorite in terms of black metal. I'm talking about the Golden Ear with, Under Fury Moon and Transylvanian Hunger and the like. So when you have that and Judas Iscariot in the mix, I'm like obviously it's a great combination. The production is very, very fitting for this kind of album, but people who grew up with, Thimblewind and Amungandr in terms of Satanic Warmaster might be in shock that now this is abandoning the so-called Finnish sound. I think it was even so far, gone that even Satanic Warmaster was a little bit irritated by the very fact of this so-called Finnish black metal sound, and he was making some kind of a comment or statement that, fuck off, pretty much, that Finnish black metal thing. And now this is sounding more like American black metal, which is kind of a, in a way, a little bit of a middle finger to the whole deal here. But anyway, take it as you will. This is not for everybody. But I like it. I think this among top 3 or top 4 of Satanic Warmaster. And that is a lot to say even with the band, 7 albums out, because in my opinion, all those splits pale in comparison towards this. And same can be said about albums like Amongander, Nachtseder, and maybe even Fimbulwinter, even though I like it a lot. But, the 3 first ones always were my favorites. And if you saw my retrospective, I was really praising that era, the 2001 to 2005, when it was very, very quickly to release album after 2 years. And, the songwriting was just really solid, and in my opinion, the best to come from Finland in terms of black metal. So this is definitely challenging them, even if with a little bit different approach to the black metal. But there are not too many raw, grim black metal ones that really sound like Inhuman and all, and this is why I'm so welcoming to this kind of stuff. So in my opinion, one of the best black metal albums of year 2024, and one of the better ones from Satanic Warmaster also. So with my words about the album, I think you should be already checking out. Links are included in the description box, so of course you can see the Metal Archives as well as Satanic Warmaster's social media and whatnot. So get your copy as soon as possible if you like the album. That's the best way to support an artist with the merchandise and all. And obviously get your copy, because you never can trust streaming services to have the material for all eternity and all. So off you go, enjoy some Satanic Warmaster, and good luck doing your albums of the year list now that it's finally out. Off you go, bye bye.